Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. How are we halfway through Run with the Wind? I don't know. I feel like this whole season has gone by really fast and we should just be on episode 1 or 2. But man, these last 3 episodes I've really liked. If this is the turning point in the series, if episode 9 was the turning point, I'm all for it. And I know I've said that a few weeks back, but what I love, I think this genre is one that I really like and want to keep watching because just the idea of how mature the themes can be and how subtle and organic the character development in this show has been, it's been wonderful. And what I've come to realize is I really like Kakeru in these last couple of episodes. And I like him as a protagonist because he's not this colossal protagonist. He's not like Lelouch from Code Geass or Naruto, where he's this over-the-top character that's just exuding all this personality and it kind of shuts out the other characters of the show. No, he's really subtle and he kind of just bounces off the characteristics of the other 9 teammates in a really organic way that I really like. My dog is like, really likes too. So, I don't know. He's really grown on me these last couple episodes, and on the one hand, I'm kind of worried about Haiji, because Haiji is sort of... Last episode was the first time Haiji was kind of reserved, which is weird, so I don't know if it's just Haiji coming out of his shell, and we're starting to, like, crack beneath the surface and see the real Haiji, and not just, like, the smiling all the time, everything's right as rain, like, if we're actually starting to see Haiji for who he really is. Or if it's just that he's more confident now that Kakeru has become more of a team member, that he can kind of let his guard down. He doesn't have to be going 120% all the time. And Haiji doesn't need to go 120% because as we saw back in, the last couple episodes, that's not healthy for him. So it's good that Kakeru's stepping up. But man, seeing these teammates all interact with one another has been so nice, and getting to learn, like last episode, Shindo's backstory. Oh my gosh, his episode, my heart was just so full, and I love his character so much. And I'm really excited that we hopefully will get that with some of the other characters as we go into the second half. We still only have half of our team qualified. We still got Nico, Yuki, Shindo, King, and Prince to qualify, which Prince is going to be the last one, of course. But I like that we got that little, like, yeah, you made it past the 30-minute mark, but I'm like, you still got to get that down by half to qualify. So I'm really curious what we end up doing here. But I like that Kakeru stepped up and could become more of a team player. I am worried, some of you commented, like, he does have very realistic relapses that are very genuine. And so I'm worried that, like, Sakaki or somebody's going to come along and give him a relapse with that. And we have this reporter mysteriously showing up that I'm like, is he going to cause him to go into a relapse? Because I don't need that from you, Kakeru. I need you to stay on board with everybody. But, I don't know. But we're at the halfway point, and I always get sad when it's a long season like this and we're halfway through. I get sad because I'm like, oh, we're already halfway through. So I just want to savor these next 11 or 12 episodes and just really let them soak in, because I don't want this show to be over. Especially when it's a series like this and there's not a season 2 yet, and may not be. But it's the last full week of December. We're going to watch this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, all right. And we are going to start episode 12 of Run with the Wind here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh. Man. So we're going to get backstory finally on Sakaki and Kakeru, and it does not look good. Man, it's just, I get that they've had all this happen in the past with them, and it's probably really hard for Sakaki to see Kakeru striving and basically doing well with this new team when their whole team was such a disaster, it looks like. Like, it must be hard for Sakaki to see that, but him provoking and just calling them posers and just being, it's like, dude, you got all this anger and you're channeling it to these people who have no clue about you and Kakeru's beef, have no clue what you guys are all about, and you're just trying to, like, bring them into it too. And I like that Haiji's like, look, we don't need any of this. You guys are being really immature. We just want to run and train. And it's like, man. And that's so telling, that line where Kakeru is like, we'll just race one-on-one, and Sakaki's like, well, that's what destroyed our team in the first place, is you just wanting to do everything. And it's like, like, Kakeru's grown so much over this season that him at the very end there, it's like, you almost don't blame him for going up against Sakaki, because that was just, Sakaki's making all these assumptions and trying to drag his friends down too, and trying to like bring up all this stuff that Kakeru's been working past. And it looks like they all are fine, like they all get over it and everything, it's resolved next episode. But I'm so glad we're gonna get to see what happened. It's one of those things where I don't know if Sakaki and him can ever mend that friendship, that it's gone through so much that you just kind of have to burn that bridge and move on. But which makes it awkward because they're running against each other, and so they constantly, it's not like when you have when something bad happens between you and a friend and you two just decide that it's better that we just don't be friends. It's one thing when you decide that and you never see him again. It's another thing when you decide that and you see them constantly. And that's kind of the problem here with that situation. But oh my gosh, like, I love this, going to this retreat, just Haiji trying to keep everybody fed and everything, and just appreciating how beautiful it is there and how quiet and serene. Because when they run the big marathon at the end, it's going to be that like mountainside with all that scenery, and so trying to prep them for that is really cool. But man, I really want to see how that gets resolved. I'm hoping everybody kind of just like steps in and they're like, no dude. But I just, and Haiji kind of keeping up with Kakeru and saying like, hey, I'm going to run beside you and stuff. Haiji worries me a lot in this episode, because he in that track meet, he like pushed himself to get in front of Sakaki, and so clearly Sakaki has some skill, but Haiji's like, oh, I gotta show you up so that you don't think that I'm not better than you. But I love that Kakeru finally like won that race, like just doing it the right way. Shindo and Yuki's friendship has been like Shindo and Musa have been friends, and Shindo and King have been friends this whole time. But the development of this friendship between Yuki and Shindo through running has been so wonderful, and I never would have pictured it from the start of this series. I'm like, Yuki and Shindo, they seem like so different, but I really love that friendship that they've developed. It's so cool. But yeah, it's so neat. I love that so much. And then both getting their times this episode. So now it's just down to Nico, King, and Prince. I have a feeling that Nico's going to get there, and King, I don't know who's going to get there first, Nico or King. And then Prince is going to be our one that's last. But, man. And this reporter guy, I don't know. He seems super sketch to me. I don't know. And that's the thing. Sakaki's like, oh, all these people are paying attention to you, and you're just getting all this attention. It's like the team doesn't really want the attention. They want to get sponsors so they have money to go to this thing and have, tracksuits and everything. But they're not doing it just for the accolades. They're doing it literally to get by and do what they have to. Such a good episode, though. I love that idea of them all going here and getting away from the scorching heat. And they took Nero with them, and then just being able to enjoy nature and figure out, like, running with the wind, like getting nature involved and seeing this like beauty that's surrounding them. But I'm really excited now. I want to see what happens next episode, because I'm assuming we're just pick right up with that and get Kakeru's backstory, and Hana looks like she joins them, so that's cool. With a truck, they're probably all going to ride back in her truck so they don't have to ride with Haiji. Oh my gosh, that's so good. But this push towards the second part of the season, it's just so good. It's so wholesome, and like your heart, like just, I feel for these boys and I want them to succeed, and I love it. So I hope you all enjoyed that reaction. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Please stay safe this holiday season. Take care, and I will be back next week with episode 13 of Run with the Wind. Bye.